Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where I will be crocheting it forward in this video by showing you my log cabin block pattern to make this pillow as well as a lapghan. Okay, so the materials you're going to need is a pillow, your 5-color minimum, any 5 colors you want. I'm using Caron yarn, and the colors that I chose will be listed in the informational box. You'll need a measuring tape, you'll need a sewing needle, scissors, and a 6.5mm crochet hook. Okay, let's grab our 6.5mm hook. I think I got that in the camera. And your first color, again, I recommend 5 colors at the least. You can certainly use more. And again, this is my pattern, my log cabin block pattern. So we'll get a slip knot, and we want to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to single crochet back to the beginning chain. For your first single crochet row. Okay, and this is how we're going to turn our work. What we're going to do is lift our loop and then insert our hook sideways, and in that same stitch you want to make your first single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that 5th stitch is going to be kind of tricky, but just always be sure you're going through both loops. 5. So we'll finish 2 rows. I'm going to go ahead and complete the 3 rows, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I have finished my 5 single crochet rows of 5 stitches, and now I have cut my yarn, and I did not finish because we're going to change colors, and we're going to start on block 2. So just insert the color, and I'm just going to tie a loose knot in the back. Okay, and this is how we're going to attach colors every time. So when you move your work like this, let me show you right here. There's 2 loops together, vertical. So inside there is where we're going to always put our first stitch. And we want to make sure this stitch is kind of loose. I always pull my loops up because we're going to come back here and stitch in that. So that's our first single crochet. You can sew in your ends as you go, work in your ends as you go. That's optional. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Again, pull up our loop, go in from the side, turn our work, and in that same stitch we're going to work in our first single crochet. 2, 3, 4, and then there's our V. That's what we're going into. Please try to be mindful on these attaching, when you're attaching color, to just make that first stitch loose. You will definitely thank yourself later. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my other 3 rows, and then I'll come back and we'll attach our 3rd block. Okay, so I finished my second set of 5 rows for my second block, and now here I'm just attaching again my 3rd color. Again, a loose knot. And then pulling my loop up a little bit because I want to be able to get in this stitch when I come back the other way. And then in that stitch right there is where I'm making my first single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then my last 10. And I believe this pattern works up as an increase in your every time you hit every 3 blocks. I believe that's what it is, because now we're doing 10 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my 5 rows of my 5 rows of 10 single crochets for this 3rd block, and I will meet you back. So I just finished my 5 rows of 10 single crochets. I have fastened off, and I'm about to change color. Tie a loose knot in the back. And then keep going with our pattern. And again, see where that, right in the middle right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you know what? Here's a pointer. Like right here, that's a big space right there. So what I sometimes do is just grab 1 loop. I know like that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to always grab 2 loops, but there's going to be so much more of the pattern worked up that it's not going to make that big of a difference. That's just a tip. You don't have to do that. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and complete the other 4 rows for this 4th block, and I will meet you back. All right, just finished up my 4th block, and cut my yarn, changing colors. Making a knot, and it does appear that in every 3rd block is when you're going to have an increase of 5 stitches. So again, we're just going to go right in between those 2 stitches for our first stitch. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I got a tail caught up in there. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Sorry about that robotic noise. I don't know how I turned that on my TV, and I got to figure out how to turn it off. So now we're doing, by your 5th block, you will have 15 single crochets. So I'm going to finish up the other 4 rows, and I'll come back and we'll go from there. Okay, so I just finished my 5th block, and now I'm going to start my color sequence over. Just a couple things to remember. You're always going to rotate your piece to the left counterclockwise, and then also if you want, you can stick a stitch marker or something. I got a safety pin here, and I have it in my 1st block as well as my 2nd, and it's a reminder to me to go this way. The tip of the safety pin reminds me to just keep going that way. Because, you know, if you're a little older than me, if you're a little older like I am, or mature, I'm 50, so sometimes I forget things. So go ahead and work up your rows, just repeating that pattern and noting that every third block you're going to go up 5 single crochets until you get the 2 pieces that you have right here. And the only thing I'm going to tell you is that you're going to need to measure your pillows. My pillows are 16 by 16, so my pieces are like 15 by 16, giving me some space to work with. The yarn does stretch a little bit, so that's going to help. Get those 2 pieces together, and I will meet you back and I'll show you how we put that together. Okay, once you get your 2 pieces to the desired length, with the length of your pillow, we're going to put the 2 pieces together. With the inside, have all your pieces, your ends and the inside, so we need the right side out. And then what we're going to do is just single crochet 3 corners, 2 and then 3, and then come back and we'll put the pillow inside, and then we'll finish up that top row. So all I did was just, it doesn't matter what color, you can do this in a different color if you want, if you're not continuing the sequence. I'm just going to do it in the same colors that I've been using. The 5 in those colors. This is Caron yarn, I'm sorry, and they will be in the description box, the colors of them. So we're just going to go to our first single crochet and match up the single crochet on the other piece, and we're going to slip and go right back into that stitch and single crochet. And basically you're just matching up your stitches. Now these pieces are a little thick, so it's might be a little tedious for some. This is an awesome beginner's project. Once I get to the next part of the video where I show you how to make the lapghan, it's pretty much the same concept, only just a couple differences. Oops. Yeah, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish this whole row, and when I get to the corner I'll show you how we're going to work those. Okay, so we are at our first corner, and all these corners are going to be worked up the same. So I'm going to go in that last stitch on both pieces. Oops. And I am going to make 3 single crochets. So each corner will get 3 single crochets. And I know it's going to leave like a little gap, but that's okay because that's where we're going to put our tassels. And then we're just going to continue, we're going to move our work and then go back down the other side. And then when you get to the corners, just be sure to make 3 single crochets. So get 3 sides done, and now I'll meet you back. We'll stuff the pillow. We'll stuff the pillowcase with the pillow, and then we can close it up, and then we can move on to part 2 of this video. Okay guys, so I just finished up my 3rd side, and I made 3 single crochets in that corner, and now I just want to pull out my yarn and grab my pillow and then stuff it. I don't know if I can get all this on camera or not, but I'm going to try. Should slide right in. There we go. And now I'm going to pick up my crochet hook and then just continue. And I've been put some of the ends that I forgot to work in, I just been sticking inside the pillow. And then just match up these stitches and fasten off right here, and I'll meet you back after we're done with that, and then we can make some tassels for the corners. Okay everyone, this is what the pillow should be looking like. Let me try to get that all in the camera. And I'm going to go get my yarn and my scissors, and then we'll move on to the final piece of the pillow, which is putting some tassels in the corner. Okay, so for the tassels, I don't want mine too long. You can decide how long you want them. I just took one strand of each of my 5 colors, and I'm just going to wrap it around my phone, maybe twice. That's 1 time, 2 time, because I don't want to be struggling trying to get them through. All right, maybe 4. So I'm just going to cut at the bottom. Stronger scissors than that. Okay. And then make sure that they're even at the bottom, right here. And I'm going to take the corner of my pillow where I put the three single crochets, and then very carefully, yeah, I'm going to need a bigger hook. Let me see which hook I can use. I have a 10 millimeter hook here. Maybe that'll help. Okay, so again, we're right here where the 3 single crochets are, and then wrap them around. Sometimes if you wiggle your hook, it'll help see it through. It'll help it pull through. Just as a thought, not all of them pull through. Might have to make it thinner. There's the rest of them. And again, I mean, you don't want flimsy tassels. So now let me see if I can get them all through. This part is kind of tedious. Came apart from the bunch there. Okay, so once you get all this in, then you want to lift up your strands of yarn. Okay, they're all over the place, but here's the space. See that? And I'm just going to take these 2 fingers and then grab the rest of the yarn, the bunch, and pull them through, and then push this down as your, so you have one side looks like that and the other side looks like that. So do that for all 4 corners, and I'll meet you back. Alrighty, you should be done with your tassels. What a tedious. I do want to mention, if you're going to have thicker tassels, go ahead and put some extra single crochets in that corner so it's not so tedious for you. And I didn't think my tassels were that big either. But I went through and I trimmed them all the same length. So that's our pillow. That's one side. The other, I kind of played around with the color on mine for a little while. So grab your yarns that you're going to use for your lapghan. If you're going to continue with the same colors, they should be right handy, and I will meet you back and we'll come back to the second segment of this video. Alright, moving on to the second segment of our pattern, which is the lapghan. I'm getting a slip knot together, and we're going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and in your third chain from your hook, 1, 2, 3, we're going to double crochet, and in the next stitch we're going to double crochet, and we're going to keep double crocheting back to our first chain. As you recall, with the pillow, we started with a chain 6 for 5 single crochets. This pattern, we just doubled it. We doubled the starting chain, and also are using the double crochet stitch as opposed to the single crochet. So we should have had 10 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. We do, because we are counting the first chain, the chain 3. 1, 2, 3 as our first chain, as our first double crochet, and then we're going to turn our work and continue making double crochets. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and at the top of that third double crochet is our 10th. And that's how we're going to do, that's the repeat row. Chain up 3, turn your work, and then skip this because we've already done this, and go right into your next double crochet. So do this for a total of 5 rows, and I will meet you back. So I just completed my 5th row of 10 double crochets. I'm going to fasten off here and attach my new color. And then tie the back of it like we've been doing with the previous pattern. And then we're going to make 10 double crochets from these 5. So we're going to still put that stitch right there in between these two. Actually, we have to slip to join. Then we're going to chain 3. And then make 2 double crochets per row somehow. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going in between, like, I don't know if you can see right there. I'm going right here. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm really trying to avoid the big spaces if I can. Obviously in this stitch I can't. 7, and then right in here 8, and then wait a minute, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. And then I'm trying to see how I'm going to space this out with these 3. Okay, I'm going to skip this right here, go here, 9, and then in that chain. No, I don't like that. So I'm just going to keep doing what I was doing as far as the stitches that I was choosing. 9, and then this stitch. I am not going to go into that first chain row. It will all work out by the time we come back the other way, I guarantee you. So at least now these all look even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're just going to continue our pattern. Chain 3. And I know a lot of you chain 2 instead, but I find if I make the chain 3 at the end, I can actually get my stitch through 2 loops a lot easier, and that's what my pattern calls for. So that's how we're doing it. So I'm going to make 5 rows of 10 double crochets in this second black color, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I just finished my 5th row with my second black color, and I'm just did a slip knot. I don't know why I'm doing that, sorry about that. And I'm just going to slip right here and tie a knot just like we've been doing. Sorry about that. And turn our work. We're going to rotate it, and there's my stitches right there, my stitch right here where I need a slip stitch. Okay, now I'm going to chain 3 and then find where I'm going to put the second double crochet, because you will need, I'm not going to mess with those tails right now, 2 double crochets per row. And just like with the pillow pattern, this is the row where we're going to go up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 20. So it's always your third block where you will do your increase. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you notice I'm trying to avoid the big spaces, even if it means, you know, pulling up just one loop. 8, 9, 10. And then we're there. We join for 10. And then 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. And these stitches are obvious. 16, because it's the starting chain. 17. 18. 19. And of course the chain right here. 20. Okay, so I'm going to chain 3, turn my work, and then in that next stitch make a double crochet. So now I'm going to make 5 rows of 20 double crochets, and I'll meet you back. Alright, so I just finished my third block, which is 5 rows of 15 double crochets. Now I'm about to attach my 4th color for my 4th block, and we're just going to continue to do the same thing we've been doing. Tying a knot loosely, and then going in to those first, in the middle of the first 2 stitches, first 2 loops, I'm sorry. First let's slip stitch, and then wait a minute, we're not single crocheting. I'm so sorry about that. We are in fact going to chain 3, but let's slip stitch first. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make 2 stitches in each 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 for a total of 20. And again, like, you're just going to have to use your judgment with these stitches, because I know that there's big spaces, and just try to get in between the loops when you're doing your 2 double crochets per row. And if you kind of get yourself in a routine, or, you know, it'll be the same stitches, because some rows have double crochets at the end and some rows have the chain 3s, so that's why they're not all the same. But again, just do the best you can. Once you get going, it'll come together, I promise you. And you know, if you see a stitch that, you know, I suggest reviewing every row, and if something, you see a stitch with a big old gap or something, you don't like it, then by all means take it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're moving on to 11, 12, 13, comfortable with that. 13, 14, 15, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And again, just do the best you can. This is a lapghan, so it's not as critical as, like, you know, it's just going to be over your lap. It's not like you could, you know, like with the pillow that you could see through it or whatever. So what I'm going to do is chain 3, turn my work, and then do my 5 rows of 20 double crochets. And I will meet you back for our last color. Alright, so I just finished up my 5 rows of my 4th color, and I fastened off, and now I'm going to attach my new color, my last color, and then I'm just going to start repeating the blocks from the very beginning, the color of them, and just keep rotating my piece to the left. As you can see, I've attached a safety pin, so I know which way I'm going. Not going to have any confusion there. And we're going to slip stitch. We're going to chain up 3, and then again just space 2 double crochets in each row as evenly as possible, without leaving big spaces. So this is 4, oops, I forgot to yarn over. 5, 6, 7, 'Don't like that. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, I'm just counting up ahead to make sure the stitches are going to come out. 19, 20. It's always going to be wonderful when the stitches are there, but when you're doing the side double crochets, that's going to be the challenging part. And again, you're just going to have patience. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, I'm not going in that big stitch. Sometimes you have to move the stitch around a little bit. Or get creative with your crochet hook. 29, and then of course the last stitch 30, and then we're going to chain 3 and then turn our work and do our 5 rows. I've done 1, I'm going to do 4 more, and then I'm just going to continue doing my piece all the way around until I feel comfortable with the length of the lapghan. I'll meet you back, you do yours, and then we can finish up by doing a border. Moving on with our lapghan. I have my lapghan measuring right now 42 inches by 43 inches, which I'm sure that's going to change a little bit after I block the lapghan. But the next thing we're going to do is the same thing that we did for our pillow border. We just did 1 row of single crochet, and in the corners we made 3 single crochets for tassels. I'm going to continue to do that because I'm going to put tassels in the corner of my lapghan. So we're just going to attach with the slip knot and then single crochet all the way around. And I'm going to work in my tail as I go. And I will meet you at the first corner where we will review how to make those 3 single crochets. Okay, so I've come to my first corner, and I'm going to single crochet. This is the stitch before, and then this is the corner stitch, and I'm going to make 3 single crochets. And then for the sides that have your double crochets or your chain 3s, we're just going to continue doing what we've been doing in the pattern, and that's making 2 for each row. 2 single crochets. And then go all the way down. Go ahead and finish that, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I finished my single crochet row, and I think I'm just going to put a picot. I'm going to add that to the pattern. And what I did is I took that color and fastened off, and then got another color. And I'm going to start right here before the 3 single crochets in the corner. Okay. So I'm going to fasten on with a single crochet. I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to single crochet in that same stitch. Chain 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to skip these 3 and then come to the other side, single crochet, and then chain 4. Do my picot of 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. Single crochet in that same stitch, and then I'm only going to do that in the corners because what we're going to do is put the tassels here. So now I'm going to single crochet 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then make my chain 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet in that same stitch, and just repeat that all the way around. When you get to your corners, if you're a stitch or 2 short, just improvise and do your corners so they all match this way. Okay, so I'm going to finish this row and I'll meet you back. Alright, so I finished up my blanket and I blocked it, and I also put tassels on the ends right here, just of 1 color each, and then folded them. And it measures 42 inches by 44. You can certainly make your blanket as long as you want. I just want to thank everyone for watching the video. I apologize for any confusion, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. I'd love to hear from you, and together let's continue to crochet it forward. Bye now.